Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame Red Dragon video today by me, Vulcan. Today I'm going to be bringing you a game with the US Marine deck on Smoke in the Water. You're probably wondering why I'm using another Marine deck, having used one previously. And well, it's mainly to show off Naval. Marine decks, they get extra slots in the Naval tab, which allows you to bring in more availability of Naval units, which on a map like Smoke in the Water, which does have Naval reinforcement points, is very helpful. Now, this map, you really don't see it too often. I don't think I've maybe ever done a video on this map. It's a very, very cool map. It has this big old volcano in the middle. It's got a lot of verticality, which is really, really cool. So yeah, we're going to be fighting around this big old island with a bunch of ships, and you can see our blue 4 stuff on the bottom left and the red 4 stuff on the top right there. But I'm going to be jumping to my point of view. I'll quickly go through some of the units. So Naval is definitely not something that's particularly popular in Red Dragon, and that's generally because it mainly comes down to whoever brings more is who wins. So it's very one-dimensional. It's not very exciting. There's not really much counterplay to a Naval, especially if you start to get behind and your opponent just has loads of ships on the water. It's very difficult to deal with that. But here at the start, we're going to be bringing in a Congo and the Lafayette, and we've got 3 Chanceries. Forrest here is going to be bringing in 2 Oliver Hazard-Perrys and a Congo. The Lafayette is a really nice one because it can fire like a volley of missiles at enemy ships. I believe the Congo can do the same, but it's kind of slow in doing so. But the Lafayette's like fire 1 after the other, and they fire like 4 in total. Anyway, I do have some ground troops. We are a Marine deck after all, so I've gotten some naval troops. So I've got some ground troops. And so here we've got the M1A1 Abrams. This is an absolutely beautiful tank. We've got a Chaparral behind that, and then the LVTP-7. That actually has a small squad in it, which basically has a small rocket launcher that can kill transports quite effectively, and also they can target infantry. I also have a Twin Huey with an infantry squad that's going to be like pushing ahead as fast as possible, trying to get ahead of the convoy there. And then we've got a Twin Huey over here with a leader unit. Now, usually you'd capture these water sectors with your ships. So you can see the Lafayette, for example, or the Congo. They can capture these sectors because they have the command symbol. So that's how you'd usually do it. But in this case, I can actually land an infantry unit on the island. So I'm trying to find a place at which I can land. And you can see my Twin Huey there trying to land on the beach, but couldn't quite do so. So I moved it over to this island, and I saw this spot on the far side. So we're going to be heading over there to drop off the good old command unit. And then I can just hide it somewhere on this island, and hopefully they'll never find it. They'll always have to consider that there might be a ship in here somewhere, or at least, you know, they might think there is for the time being. So going to capture this. They'll think there's maybe stuff here. We can also reinforce from this point. As soon as we capture that, our aircraft can come in here. Our naval units can come in here as well. So there's that. My Twin Huey ended up unloading the light riflemen back here. These do have a Super Dragon, which is an HGM that can be used to kind of shoot stuff from a distance. But here we see my small unloads. We do take out the enemy transport. Now I'm going to be trying to engage these Geococte. And, well, they're going to demolish my unit because they are a 15-man squad with shock training. My small also shock training, but we're only a 5-man squad and we're not in cover, so that's going to end very badly. Meanwhile, over on the left, Forest Congo is zooming ahead. I've got my Chanceries following up. He's going to absolutely annihilate the helicopter with anti-aircraft from the Congo there. Up on the top in the meantime, Crow's just ran up here with his Israeli units. He's got the Mikava 2B. It's a cool looking tank. Very strong tank. He's got the HVMS as well. This is an interesting one. It's like an M113, and it has like a big 60mm gun on top of it. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, so he's taken the center of the the big old island here on top of the volcano, so that's cool. Meanwhile, though, at Bravo, we've kind of lost the point for the time being. So we're currently losing a +1. Saithor's going to be coming around with some ships. We've got some small gunboats coming around the coast, and these Shantus, they basically have dual 37mm guns. They can do a lot of damage to aircraft and also infantry. They can also target vehicles, especially unarmored vehicles. They'll probably do quite a lot of damage to, but tanks can probably kill Shantus. Regardless, over on this side, the Navy is moving into position. We're kind of keeping all of our ships together. That's generally the best way to deal with things. And you can see there's a Nanushka kind of hiding behind this island, trying not to get shot by our weapon systems. I'm bringing in a Super Hornet here. I was just trying to see if this could actually target the ships there, the Shantus. This has 2 harpoons, and these harpoons are specifically anti-ship missiles, but I don't believe they can hit a ship that doesn't have radar, and those Shantus don't. So I was struggling to use the Super Hornet there to get the job done. But there is a Luda and a Sovereign following up. Now the Sovereign is probably one of the scariest ships you're going to see in Wargame Red Dragon. It's the absolute beast that the Red Force side get. They also get the Udaloy, but the Sovereign is generally perceived to be better, I believe. Mainly due to its strong gun, high health, and it also does get a few missiles. It has a decent AA net that it can put up for itself, and also the really good CIWS as well. So that's definitely something to be looking out for on your ships if you're going to use them. Anyway, over here, the Chamseries are under fire from the Nanushka. The Nanushka does have just a couple of like anti-ship missiles there, trying to target the Chamseries, but the Chamseries can deal with that with their own CIWS. They have good CIWS. The Congos have the very good one, but the Olive Hazard Perrys, I'm not a huge fan of them because they don't have very good CIWS. And so if you leave them out on their own, they can get taken out very easily. And you can see the CIWS there from the Nanushka trying to shoot that out the sky. 76mm having to go at the Oliver Hazard Perry, but the Oliver's Hazard Perry do have more accurate guns, I believe, more powerful guns, and also the Congo's firing away with its 127mm, so that guy's not having a very good time. Oh, that missile actually went over the island there and blew that up. So that is one Nanushka down. Meanwhile, on this side, I'm still trying to shoot these Shantus. This has been a while since I'd played Wargame Red Dragon, so yeah, I was a bit unsure of how to really deal with this, and I actually end up being fired at by the Shantus. Unfortunately for me, they're not particularly accurate against fast movers, so I managed to get away with it. LVTP 7A1s are now moving in. They're making the crossing from our reinforcement point over here. That's going to bring me some more Marines that can push into Hotel, some US Marines. We've got a Cobra over here. This is like a recon helicopter, and that's just kind of keeping eyes on the enemy ships. And currently they're counter-capping India, but they can't bring in reinforcements there. And now we've got the engagement coming in against the Luda. The Congos are firing away. The Nanushka's also under fire. If there's one thing that's really awesome about Wargame Red Dragon naval engagements, is they do look really cool, even if they are incredibly unrealistic. So the Congos there absolutely demolishing that Luda. The 127mm guns are just so good, and you can see there the harpoon just slapping that to death. The Nanushka though did get a really good kill onto the Oliver Hazard Perry, so that's going to be sinking. And as I was saying, the Soviet missile systems can be very scary because they always fire two at once, and if you get a bunch of these Nanushkas together and do volleys at larger targets, you can get a lot of nice kills. Whereas for the side of the Blue 4, you're so reliant on these Chamseries and less so your own Lafayettes and so on, because they only have like so many Crotals that they can use to shoot down enemy aircraft or enemy missiles. So the Lafayette's CIWS is the Crotal CN2, which is the one you can see on the bottom right. And yeah, once they run out of those, they have no more Seawers. So you have to kind of rely on the Seawers of the Chancelleries because they have a lot of ammunition. The Vulcan minigun doing the work there. Oliver's hands of Perry getting rammed a little bit, but there we go. Nanushka coming under fire, managing to save itself for the time being, but not enough. So that goes down. We control Alpha for the time being. Awesome naval combat. Meanwhile, Crow's kind of coming down the side of this hill with all of his tanks and so on. Imagine that would be a fun ride. They've got a long way down. You can see they're kind of sliding all the way down there. Very cool. MO4s are moving over. Enemy troops has been spotted there. But basically, yeah, Crow's kind of taken this, put his maglands at the top. And they're providing recon, and then he's moving down to the bottom here. His Macbeth. Oh, would you look at that? It's another Vulcan minigun. That's going to be absolutely annihilating those aircraft, taking those out. And these Macavers now destroying that infantry as they move down as well. Yes, your Nimrods now coming in from Crow. They're going to be able to help with an HGM against that armoured unit. Right, meanwhile on the bottom side, we want to stop these Shanties from making too much more ground, so I'm actually bringing up some Super Cobras. Now Super Cobras, they have HGMs, so they can actually, I mean these can target ships as well as any other unit. In this case they're particularly good because the Shanties don't have any form of Seawers, so the HGMs just absolutely slap them. HGMs have a lot of power, so they can hit very, very well on the high health tanks here. But the AH-1J is going to go down to the Jengu. I completely missed that. But meanwhile, Forrest is making a hell of a push. He's pushing in hard with the Congo here. The Luda, however, is in a bad spot. There is also the... I completely forgot about the Seawers actually on the Congo, but the trouble with these in particular is they're very short range. It does have those to shoot down rockets, but because they are so short range, they don't have a very good amount of time to react. So if you again get volley fired by missiles, they can get very close and often too close for comfort. I mean, this is only 2 ships firing missiles, and that Congo almost got hit then. That kind of explains what I mean. Super Cobras have moved in. I've got a couple of recon units moving up. My Lafayette's going to be falling back to friendly Lafayettes over here. And I'm going to be bringing in some leaders to capture both the center point and also countercap Bravo so that we can start getting points on the board. Because currently we're actually losing quite significantly, although we do have a very good presence on the map. This Luda's still having a hard time, taking a lot of fire from the Congo. Chongju is on the way. This is actually a really cool unit. Don't see them used very often. The gunboat has a rocket system on the back with 120mm rockets. It's great for stunning units, especially on the land. It can also panic ships on the water. So if you, for example, have your own large ship, so like a Sovereign or something, and you're fighting a Congo, if you panic the Congo will be less accurate, so your Sovereign will have the advantage, and that's something that the Chongju can actually do. But usually you generally do that with like land forces, like a land rocket artillery or something like that. Anyway, Lafayette is now engaging the Jengu. The Lafayettes are great because they can kind of look after themselves quite well. They do have the Crotal missile system. I believe they have a couple guns on the side as well that can kind of help out if needs be. But yeah, here we're just trying to deal with Jengu. Lafayette takes a hit there though. You see just like the missiles managing to break through because we don't have enough Seawers. Up on this top side, and Anushka's now the one under fire. Backing off. Should blow up soon. Getting shot directly. Move my Lafayette forwards with the Chancelleries. There it goes. Boom. Another cool thing about ships is when they do blow up, they do damage to nearby ships. So that's always something to be wary about. You've got to kind of keep them spread, but not too far that you take damage because you don't have enough sewers. This ship's now going down. The Lafayette did get killed off. The Jiangyu is now charging forwards, but without the radio operator, it can't actually target anything. The explosion in the ammo room is really, really nice. It's a fantastic crit. Does a lot of damage. But that one just got absolutely annihilated there as it suicide charged forwards. I assume it was on an attack move order, but because the radar died, it just kind of kept moving. Anyway, we are starting to get these places captured. Captured the center in Gulf. I decided to move the Twin Hue over to Hotel because it's less contested than Bravo. And, well, here comes a JH-7 with a TV guidance missile, but that didn't have a very good time. Got absolutely annihilated. Look how many rockets flew off in that, well, missiles, I guess they are, that flew off in that direction. Chancery is currently under fire by the Sovereign. The Sovereign, I believe, does have 2 guns. Yeah, it's got the dual 130 mils. It's got the ones on the front and the back. The damage that comes out of the Congo is quite nice, though. But yeah, the Sovereign definitely wins in firepower. That's going to try and kill my Chancery, so I'm going to have to be forced to fall them back, and that's going to leave my front ships vulnerable to missiles. So there we go. The naval engagement continuing. Jiangyu sending one off to the Congo. I believe that got shot out of the sky just in time. Weapon system reboot is a really nice crit for us to get on the Sovereign. Makes that a lot less useful. I'm just going to be continuing to focus that to keep it out of action. My US Marines have managed to get into position. Now they're now charging forwards, engaging the enemy, pushing across Hotel, cleaning them out, and the Huey is going to be landing with that leader. Still massing up our units here. The Chancery being brought in to help out with the sewers. And we'll be engaging these guys shortly. But currently very focused on dealing with these units. And L-19 does come in briefly, does get shot down. Aircraft near ships, generally not a good idea. Like, aircraft are... You can get some aircraft that can destroy ships, but you've got to be really, really careful with how you place them, because if you put them just a little bit too close, they're going to go down. Now, that unit gets absolutely annihilated. I believe the Sovereign must have been dealt with already, yeah. And now a Udalois are going to be coming in. So another ship going boom there. And as I mentioned, naval combat can get pretty one-dimensional in that whoever has more generally wins, and you can see that we're just starting to overwhelm. As soon as the first building block falls, the whole thing falls down, right? So the Sovereign is dead, every other ship here is pretty much dead as well. The Udalois is pretty good. It does have a good, decent frontal gun. It also has missiles, a lot like the Congo. The Udalois is more equivalent to the Congo, just the Congo has a better front gun. It's a lot more accurate. That's the difference mainly between the guns on the Congo and the guns on the Udaloi and the Sovereign, is that the Congo is more accurate, I think. Anyway, my Congo is being artied here. And arty is actually kind of a big problem for ships, because they don't really move particularly fast, and the artillery in Wargame Red Dragon aims very fast, so that's always a bit of a problem. Sovereign here having a hard time dealing with the stuff quite well so far. My Lafayettes are reloading their Exocet missiles, and you'll see them fire off their volleys shortly. Usually they fire 4, but they must have been on a reload. But one of them does manage to hit, which is really nice. That was great. US Marines pushing through here, doing a lot of damage. In the centre, we've actually managed to do really well, capturing Gulf Hotel. We managed to kill the leader that was in Bravo, so we're actually at a +5 advantage. and our ships are moving around the back here now, which is causing us to cut off their spawns. So they're really kind of not able to get onto the island, and this is one reason that this map just really isn't played that much, because this is basically what happens. One side gets the better of the other on the water, and then you win very, very quickly after that. The Lafayette's there again firing their volleys. Sovereign's in trouble. Can it kill all of the missiles in time? Yes, it can, because it's a Sovereign. But that Sovereign is very, very low on health. Only a matter of time before that goes down. The Pohang getting close there to try and kill the Chongju. So my Congo and Lafayette are still good. This Lafayette's kind of run out of ammunition almost entirely, so I'm actually sending that back to Alpha to capture that. And just kind of help capture that rather than continue the engagement. Once ships run out of ammo, they're really not that useful, so there's no point in keeping them around. Maybe for CWIS purposes, but that one's used up all its Crotals, so it would only be reliant on its miniguns. And the Congo's still getting hit here. It's always unfortunate. Fast mover now coming in. See a Ram come in. This does have laser guided bombs, I believe. The SAL missiles. It's okay for targeting like these kinds of things. You can see they're coming in and they're probably going to get the kill. Oh, not quite. But yeah, as you can see, the plane doesn't last very long. If you go in for like those sort of strikes where you need to guide the bombs in, they don't tend to do very well. Makongo's still here, still doing well. Junggu goes down. Does take a Hatsuyuki with it. Utilized now firing away. It does have a Muna there. That Muna is currently providing fresh missiles on the go. Congo is now in big trouble. But on this bottom side, I'm bringing in my own aircraft. We have some Aardvarks. These Aardvarks have a lot of rockets that they can use, and we're going to completely try and overwhelm the CIWS, and that's exactly what we do. I believe I got out with most of those aircraft. But yeah, the Sovereign dying here did a lot of damage to the Luda that was next to it. I actually mentioned earlier how ships blowing up does do damage to units next to it, and with the Sovereign now dead, the Ludas are also in trouble. Kernes also does extra damage here. Ludas don't have very good AA, so the Kernes is fine to get out of there. Now we've got some Peace Pheasants coming in with the bombs. And there's a last hurrah, the bombing strike comes in. Onto the Muna and the Luda. Looks cool as hell. And boom, that's game. There you have it, some naval combat in Wargame Red Dragon. Something that I don't really show off very often. It's not something I particularly like to play very often. Again, very one-dimensional, but awesome to look at. That's probably the best way to describe naval in Wargame Red Dragon. And after 20 minutes and 47 seconds, I get a pretty decent KD. But I guess when things swing so one-sided like that, especially in like the naval warfare, it's to be expected really, because those ships do cost a lot. I think a Congo is like 200 points, maybe more, like 400 points or something stupid. But we managed to kill quite a lot with that. Shot down a bunch of aircraft. Those aircraft also costing a lot. Didn't really kill much on the ground. My Super Cobras killed a couple things, but that was about it. The US Marines cleaned up that section. But yeah, that island, although it looks really cool and the map is absolutely fantastic looking, it's not very practical in a gameplay sense because naval's not the best executed in this game. Regardless, awesome fun, and thank you to everybody who played. Crow, Forrest, Musil, Sathor, Joaquin, thank you guys for getting involved in these games. I really appreciate all of those of you who come along to the streams and play these games with me. If you don't know, I stream at twitch.tv/VulcanHDGaming every Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. We are streaming War Games on Saturdays as well at the moment, and that's at 8 PM GMT if you want to come along. So yeah, I tend to play my games live there. I might be bringing like more Wargame content in the future, but it might be like few and far between, maybe like one video a week, something like that. Just because there is a bit of an uptake in Wargame Red Dragon due to the latest Epic release, and also the announcement recently that Eugen might be working on something for Wargame, which is very cool. So yeah, we'll see what that turns out like. But in the meantime, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.